My parents as kids before the Holocaust. I want to ask you, Mom, about when you were growing up, your childhood. Looking back on it, do you think you had a happy childhood? Do you have happy memories about growing up?
Yeah, I have happy memories of it, but I have very sad memories when the war started.
I'm talking about before the war.
I remember every year of my life. I was an apprentice for 3 years. I was working very hard, like a slave. A minimum of food and working a lot of hours.
You grew up with her?
No,
I was an apprentice in her town, in Munkach. And
I thought Jack was asking her.
no, I'm helping, and she's gonna still talk about it. I know that.
You're helping her describe her own growing up when you didn't grow up with her?
No, I'm not helping her, but I feel it along with her.
You can't assume that you had similar experiences growing up.
No, but that's why to say when you're young, you know, you always have happy memories. When
Joe, do you have happy memories growing up?
Not quite.
So, you know,
some.
there goes your theory.
Some. No, that's it, you know. It's a mixture of memories. I wouldn't exactly say happy. I'm actually interested in hearing what Ma has to say because it would just be interesting to me.
Talk, not.
Nobody seems to be very anxious to talk about their childhoods around here.
Why not? Why don't you ask me? I have to talk about it.
I don't have to ask you. I'll ask Mom and you'll give me the answer.
There's one thing that always, all those years, bothers me. Not it bothers me. It's always on my mind. I never will know that how my mother really, when she died, because when we arrived to Auschwitz, when they said I went left and right, and when I went with my sister, and my mother went to the other side with a tree, with my little sister, with her little brother. And I will never find out, never know, did she die after 10 minutes or after an hour, after 2 hours? The crematories was burning all the time, but I will never find out, never know when she died.
Grab this one.
My parents were among the few who survived. I've known about the concentration camps as long as I can remember. But I can honestly say I never used to think about it too much.
Watch your head there.
Joe's the oldest of the three brothers, and the first in our family to suggest to me that we all might have been affected by what happened to our parents.
I think we meant to move it over a little bit.
Okay. I don't know how different we are from other families, but I do know what sets us apart. And my discussions with Joe usually come around to the question of how, or even if, we can ever really isolate the impact the Holocaust had on our lives. Why do you think you became a painter?
You know, I started reading about painters' lives, and I got kind of intrigued by their difficulties and hardships, you know.
But you don't think that the struggle that you were attracted to had anything to do with the struggle that you felt your parents went through?
No, not as directly as you put it. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's... I don't personally feel I have the vantage point to really say at what point, in fact, my indirect experience of the Holocaust is relevant to anything that I do. Because I myself didn't go through it. I did not. I never did. In that sense, I'm no different than anybody else.
But you grew up with that imagery of the Holocaust.
Well, no, I didn't grow up with imagery. I mean, it was not on the walls of our house.
That was,
I have a
he was
question
too young.
for Joe. Can you remember the first time you knew that your parents were in a concentration camp or there was terrible violence in our family? How old were you, and do you remember?
I had known, I don't know how, but I had known that there was something terrible that happened. There were references made, I think, by Mother, that she had gone through something terrible, and in light of what she had gone, it was a tremendous sacrifice, as though she had a hard time with me. I wasn't an easy child to raise, apparently. So when she had a hard time with me, it would come to light that she had had a hard time already, and she didn't want to have a further hard time. There was mention of Hitler. That I had known at a very early age.
Like how early do you think?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'd say kindergarten. The kids who played on the street, I don't know.
Where was this?
In Haifa. It was popular to, say, start a fire. And you never started a fire with the other kids unless you had an effigy in the middle of the fire, and that effigy was Hitler.
They took us in a place in minutes. My clothes was on everything. In a minute, I saw myself already also, without hair, everything. Then one day, at night, it looked like the whole, like it's a fire. And the smell and everything. And everybody was running out. And then the couple said, you know, with the sticks, she said, come on, do you see that fire? She said, you are talking about your parents. Your parents were burned. You didn't even arrive to Auschwitz, to the cell. They were already burned. And remember, the minute you arrived, in the minute your parents and your children, whoever went on the left side is dead.